5 years ago. 5. And it still probably has the duo. Let's go on Steam and check it out. No way. I can't believe this. Sonic Forces has been turned into a 5-year-old video game. And it still has the duo. And the newest one comes out tomorrow. What the hell am I gonna do now? Let's see. Let me check to see if the world is still ending. Also, is it just me that I seem to forget something that I said I'd do a Sonic Origin so not to be whatever the fuck I said? I generally don't even care anymore. After those disastrous forms of copium and, quite frankly, Stockholm Syndrome, I'm not even sure what the hell to do anymore. So, let's see what else I can do in the meantime. Here's my to-do list. Sonic movie discussion. Fuck.
It is the year 2020. A film known as Sonic the Hedgehog will premiere in theaters. And 2 years later, we would get Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Get some tails, catch some knuckles. Was it? Who cares? The following video will contain spoilers. Back now at your own risk, or face eternal damnation. And now, if you excuse me, I must return to whence I will never return. Because people are pussies. And you wanna know what I do to pussies? I fuck.
What the hell are you doing here?
Nothing. I was just monologuing for you.
Yeah, well, you can do that in the place where you never return, because people still think that you're part of the problem.
What? What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. I've only caused 4 nations to go at war against each other so that I can seize the day.
Yeah, well, people still don't know that apparently Blue Moon being attacked by one of your imposter men is the whole reason why your game won't be released anytime soon. So get out of here. Also, aren't you supposed to be another video?
You win this time, but mark my words. I will have my revenge.
Yeah, you wanna know who says that? Juri Han. And she will probably be DLC in Street Fighter 6. Now, be like a meteor and strike out.
Insolent worm, I will be back.
God, what a weirdo. Anyway, let's get the show on the road. I'm going to begin this rant by paraphrasing what Steffi Sparta said when bringing up Ralph Breaks the Internet. And no, I've only seen the first movie, and after seeing the stupid nonsense that people like to bring up with that scene, this kind of is important, so I'll leave the original source in the description. But I'm going to paraphrase this shit because this is kind of necessary. I do enjoy the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but I'm sick of Twitter constantly bringing up the shit on it every other week. Talk about literally anything else than a not very faithful adaptation from the 90s when there's much worse out there that people don't even remember. Probably a horrible way to paraphrase it, but yeah. You know how people said that Super Mario Bros. Is probably one of the worst adaptations of all time, and yet Double Dragon came out around that time, which I quite frankly think is much worse? How can these same people who say that Super Mario Bros. Is one of the worst adaptations ever, yet they seem to give Sonic the Hedgehog films a legit pass? I ask this because I watched both of them back to back, because, well, I hate myself and I need to expunge myself and make a promise that I said I would. So let's talk about it. Before I begin, I'm absolutely not going to be discussing the atrocious pre-movie Sonic design. I'm not necessarily going to rag on them for what was essentially beta footage and then put together in the final product. If anything, I will give them credit for actually listening to feedback, even if it means the studio who made the redesigns had to be shut down. It certainly says a lot more than the fucking company who won't even acknowledge actual fan feedback. Now, because this is a movie, I can't show any actual footage. So enjoy my post-edit of my Sonic 1 and 2 playthrough via the Sega Genesis collection. I would record off of Genesis, but remember, people hate and disavow emulation, but Sega wants to sell it to you. And you probably buy anyway. Fucking amazing. As I probably said for the fourth or fifth time at this point, I don't care, there are going to be spoilers. And because the people who made this movie are so fucking lazy they couldn't even cite proper video game adaptations properly, I'm gonna do the laziest thing possible. Going on Wikipedia, the Sonic Fandoms site, and read the plot synopsis, because why not? In San Francisco, California, a seemingly normal day is interrupted by a shocking spectacle. An anthropomorphic hedgehog with blue fur, white gloves, and red shoes is running through the city at breathtaking speed while a flying machine piloted by a mustached scientist dressed in red gives chase and fires explosive energy blast. In the middle of the chase, there is a pause as the hedgehog, named Sonic, begins to narrate what is currently happening and rewinds to the very beginning, recalling his childhood days on a beautiful island in another world. Okay. First of all, I understand that Sonic is more or less one of those witty characters, but why the fuck would you have him reference shit that is known in real life? Didn't Richard Kuda get shit for doing the same thing when Dr. Robotnik referenced Charles Darwin? And apparently he has mentioned that there actually are more problems than just, cosmetics in Sonic. You have Sonic making quirky comments about referencing things like Star Wars of all things. And apparently this island is known as Mobius, which I highly doubt is named. And apparently they can't even really use that name in the games anymore, despite Sonic is one of the only IPs in gaming where it can actually have a separate canon from the comics, the games, the films, the TV show, or anything else, even though it all started as a game. Amazing. And also, Sonic has a guardian called Longclaw. This is already the first red flag. This is a character who has never been in the games, or the comics, or the shows, or anything. This character, to my knowledge, has only been in the movie. Remember when everyone shat on other movie-based video games where they introduced characters who have nothing to do with the original source material? Why are you people okay with this? Longclaw becomes prey for whoever the fuck is planning on hurting her, or whatever. And apparently Sonic is all, I'm too fast to be seen, and all that crazy bullshit. And apparently Sonic can literally create portals with rings. How fucking stupid do these people think that apparently these rings that Sonic carries are essentially the same thing as the giant rings that appear at the end of Sonic 1? Like, what the hell? And yes, I know someone's gonna say, oh, the rings always did that sort of thing, except what fucking ring, as far as a gameplay mechanic, have you been able to just take out a ring that you collected and just warp anywhere? I swear, these are probably the same fucking people who actually dismiss the fact that Knuckles despite being able to transform into Super Knuckles, he chooses not to despite being a gameplay mechanic. So Sonic flees into a place called Earth. Yeah, I'm gonna get this out of the way. Much like what Arlo said in his film reviews, which I did watch, and apparently people gave him a lot of shit for it, which I don't understand. He has said much worse, in my opinion, and I have defended him when people have said shit that I didn't agree with, but whatever. Why is it that these damn writers always try to mix in modern day settings with, you know, game adaptations? I guarantee you if that Monster Hunter film, if it even is out, and quite frankly I don't give a shit, everyone's like, oh, why the fuck does Monster Hunter need to be taking place in the real world? It's its own fantasy setting. If you want to make it based on Earth, whatever, just use something like Station Square. Don't use like California or wherever this damn film wants to take place. Just use Station Square or its own fictional Earth, like Mortal Kombat. And yeah, I know that's kind of weird. Yeah, it's obvious that Earthrealm in Mortal Kombat is essentially their version of Earth, but it's not like it's directly tied to it. Sonic warps to Earth, I guess. Now, 10 years later, has adjusted life on Earth and meets a man in Green Hills, Montana. Okay. How much fucking copium did people consume into thinking that this shit is acceptable? If this was any other adaptation, it would be crucified, upside down. But no, you have to enjoy it for what it is. Sonic apparently has been hiding, learning pop media references from Donut Lord. Oh yeah, we'll fucking get to that. Donut Lord, oh yes. So one day, Sonic was moving around at the speed of light. Tom catches Sonic with the thing that shows how fast people are moving, and he finds a quill, which apparently Sonic can shed now. God, this is just fucking stupid. To blatantly shitty adaptations of films based on video games, where even after 30 years later they can't get basic shit right. But hey, the Super Mario Brothers movie is the worst movie of all time, right? God, I need a fucking drink. Enough with the foreplay crap. I'm going to mention some of the biggest issues I have with this movie. First of all, this is entirely out of Sonic's character. I get that he's supposed to be the wisecracking jackass, kind of like Bugs Bunny, except every fucking time the film wants to be serious, the fucking writers can't decide if they want to make a movie for kids or for adults, and clearly they have no balance between the two. Jay's reviews, when he used to make good reviews, said it best in his Sly 4 review, where even Sly Cooper, a genuinely funny character at times when he wants to be, can be just as serious when it's life or death. And if they really wanted to make a witty character who's always cracking jokes, then why is this shit even made to begin with in using Sonic of all things? And before you ask, yes, I was primarily interested in seeing this movie to see if Jim Carrey would do his best. Honestly, I don't think he did as good of a job as I would hope. Mainly because the writers decided to give him some of the cringiest dialogue that's maybe funny the first couple seconds he's on screen, but that's his whole fucking shtick. Which is lame as fuck. Seriously, him referencing modern slang is just absolutely out of Robotnik's league. Remember when the writers at Sonic Boom did the exact same shit, but we're supposed to give it a pass because it's live action? What fucking retarded bias do you people have, seriously? I don't ever want to see Dr. Robotnik reference bro or haters unless it's some really shitty parody. But no, this is something that Sega endorsed, gave money to, and founded whoever the hell made this and apparently thought it was okay. There's also the scientist dude too, which I wouldn't be surprised if there was Rule 34 up the ass, like with when Sonic and Shadow came into the picture. And no, that was not a sexual joke, I promise. But seriously, one of my biggest issues with this movie, besides Sonic being completely out of character, was that for whatever reason, Hollywood, the most biggest moneymaker in the world couldn't even afford to give Jim Carrey at least an appropriate fat suit to make him somewhat look like the games. Look, I get that they can't make Jim Carrey look like exactly like he does in the games, or at least going by the original Sonic the Hedgehog looks, where he is literally shaped like an egg, hence why he's called Dr. Eggman, and the localizers thought, wow, that's a really fucking stupid name, let's call him Dr. Robotnik. You know, they didn't have to go all out with making him look like a CGI monster like a Bobo from Double Dragon, but couldn't they at least make him somewhat looking like he does in the games? Does Hollywood not know what a fucking fat suit is? I'm not saying they had to make him look like Nikocado Avocado or Reverend Byrne. They couldn't even give Jim Carrey a proper fat suit to at least make him look like Dr. Robotnik. Even when he decides to get his traditional outfit, which, much like with what people criticize about the Super Mario Bros. Movie, they don't have those outfits until later on in the movie, and yet Dr. Robotnik does that exact same thing. They didn't have to make it look pristine, but at least make it look like somewhat how he did, like in Sonic 06. The one time where Dr. Robotnik somewhat looked like a damn human. And even people bitch about that because he wasn't shaped like a goddamn egg. Well, considering the bipolar disorder these Sonic fans have, I can't say I'm surprised. Tom and Sonic have a really weird thing where they try to be buddies, I guess, and they have to learn to deal with their nonsense. And even in that one infamous scene where Tom shoots Sonic in the leg, you know which one I'm talking about, the one that Shadman made a sexual image out of, or whatever the fuck. Apparently this one scene in the movie completely contradicts shit that happens later on, since Sonic can literally move fast when he wants to, but it's like the polar opposite of plot armor, where he could do things, but instead he doesn't. Why the hell would these damn writers try to pad up the movie with such shitty jokes, and then some? I mean, for God's sakes, they even reference Sonic with Crazy Carl, which, honestly, that would be kind of interesting if Crazy Carl was Dr. Robotnik, since he's just as crazy about Sonic as he is, but yet he could have been like some other incarnation of Robotnik, I guess, but that would have been too creative at the writers from the Sonic movie. A lot of the jokes just don't really work. The relationship between Tom and Maddie just doesn't really work. Also, why the hell is half the movie focused on the damn humans? This is supposed to be Sonic the Hedgehog, not Tyler Perry. Oh wait, that's for later. I just have no interest in rambling about something that I just don't care to watch again. It's so shitty that I really wish I would just forget about it and then just completely disavow this movie's existence because it's that terrible. The only way people would enjoy this is that if you were like a kid who knows nothing about Sonic, yet they keep referencing things that are made for people who grew up with the fucking games, and as with almost every other adaptation, they always screw it up. This is what is acceptable to people who enjoy Sonic? Even when I'm supposed to feel bad about Sonic losing Robotnik, he's always just cracking jokes and my immersion is ruined. Like playing Call of Duty World War II where people are dressed up in different cosmetics, but my immersion, okay, near. This movie just doesn't work as far as humor goes, and even the pacing too is just weird. The only thing I really liked about the movie, honestly, was actually the very ending, because they actually have some interesting sprite work that shows a summary of what happened during the movie. Those couple of seconds at the end is a lot more faithful to the original games than whatever the fuck this shit is. But the ending credits music is so fucking horrible that it reminded me of Mortal Kombat X when that first got revealed.
I'ma tell you that you're not my competition, I'ma always win. Let me in, let me go in, I ain't running, I'ma come and tell you when you can get to talk about it, cause I really live it.
So, as with Marvel movies, they do a post-credit scene for the first film where they show Tails, and it's just weird that they even chose to redid this movie scene in the next movie. And it also shows Dr. Robotnik going crazy and, obsessing over Hedgehog, and yet the one thing they don't even reference is the classic line, "I hate that hedgehog." Are you fucking kidding me? whatever. So the second movie shows that Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, the Sonic heroes of the movie, are going to be duking it out against Dr. Robotnik once again. Except, I'm actually going to say this now, and I'm serious when I say this. I actually liked Knuckles' performance in this movie, as far as what is given to me, because that is the general rule of enjoying shitty movies like this. Just take it for what it is, man. Well, guess what? I actually enjoyed Idris Elba's performance as Knuckles. He is single-handedly the best part of the movie, because he actually bothers to voice act, and he even does a very decent job. I was a little worried at first because of the whole thing with voice actors and whatnot, and even Bleach has gone for that same shit. I'm not going to get into that shit because I quite frankly already did a rant about that, but I got it handed to Mr. Elba. He nailed the role as the dude who is a native guy who doesn't understand basic Earth functions. I thought it was a lot more funnier than any Dr. Robotnik lines that came out of Jim Carrey's otherwise decent track record. Unless you count to number 23. Also, I should get this out of the way. They reference the Ugandan Knuckles meme because, of course, they do. And also, what the hell is up with these two tall dudes at the beginning of the movie? Are they supposed to be Slender Man or some other obscure joke I don't know about? The second movie takes place right after the first one, where Dr. Robotnik is sworn off by the government, who turns out to be Gun. Oh shit, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. Sorry. So it shows Knuckles and the Echidna tribesmen, attacking Robotnik, and much like in Sonic 3, the two attempt to work together in order to find the Master Emerald. Whereas Sonic has gone from a teenager, now trying to be friends with Donut Lord, is now essentially taking crime on at night, while also having the soundtrack to SSX Tricky in the background. Okay, I gotta make another confession. The only IP that is legally allowed to use that song and is not completely cringe is SSX Tricky. If that shit is used in any other movie, especially a movie made for kids, I immediately disavow that joke into the Shadow Realm. That shit is not funny, it's a good song, but my god, it is always used in the cringiest moments in fucking kids' movies. Even something like Boss Baby 2, which I thought was okay, that shit was just as cringe as this, but at least I got the worst part out of the way, so whatever. So yeah, you see Sonic pull a Spider-Man, stopping a random bank robber. I actually thought it was going to be like Sonic Adventure 1, where Sonic is going after the police or whatever, but no. It is kind of like that, I guess, but it wasn't. It's just a really weird indirect reference to something that not even kids are going to understand, because these games came out in the 90s and 2000s. But yet, these writers can just do whatever the fuck, and they'll be cited as having the best video game movie of all time. So yeah, Sonic has now gone from a kid to a teenager to whatever, and now he's getting the responsible talk from Donut Lord. And of course, Tom and Maddie go to Maddie's sister's wedding, I guess, where they somehow decide to use the rings irresponsibly, by the way, which I don't understand, but we'll talk about that a little later. And you can see Sonic doing a bunch of things using something like FaceTime. Jesus fucking Christ, this is so cringe. Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles are trying to find Sonic again, in which, honestly, I legit thought the first time that when Jim Carrey appeared trying to encounter Sonic, I thought it'd be like a nightmare sequence, but no, it was just the real thing, and thus the pacing is ruined like a sack of dead potatoes. And you also see Tails boarding a police car and running over Knuckles. If that's not some subtle dark humor, then I don't know what is. I could be reaching a little too far though, but let's continue. Tails was apparently able to find Sonic thanks to the EMP that Sonic caused, which also caused Dr. Robotnik to come looking for him, hired by Gun, which also turns out to be the very same company who has the old dude making a lot of weird-ass jokes that just don't really fit. And then, I shit you not, the half of the movie is essentially Tyler Perry if you were writing a Sonic movie. You have Maddie's sister's soon-to-be husband, and of course they pull the "I wanted to know the truth from the very beginning" crap that is just tiring even in Tyler Perry's other best works, but whatever. The wedding in Hawaii was a complete setup and attempt to capture Sonic by gun. They're very incompetent in the games. I guess it's somewhat accurate that they're just as incompetent and quite frankly retarded in the Unfaithful movie based on the video games from the 90s. Speaking of Faithful, the only other part of the movie that I actually somewhat enjoyed was the mysterious island that is more or less supposed to be Labyrinth Zone. And if it wasn't really spelled out enough, they even show a shot of the Yu-Gi-Oh card of the same name. And you even see bits where Sonic is doing actual platforming because that's what these games are meant to be. Although it's kind of being a little too generous, since even in Labyrinth Zone originally, there was hardly any damn platforming at that pace. But whatever, take what you can get, I guess. They tend to reuse a lot of the jokes from the first movie. At least they didn't reuse the stupid farting joke that was in the first movie, which is... God, it's just out of character. I guarantee this is going to be in the Mario movie and no one complains, and you people are fucking hypocritical, I swear. There is this really weird dancing scene that's set in Serbia? I'm not gonna make the fucking comment. And, of course, you have the whole bond between Sonic and Tails, which just doesn't really go anywhere from what I've seen because the pacing is just craptastic. And they show what the Master Emerald does, which is essentially Mary Sue levels of fucking fanfiction retardation. Somebody take that fucking map and burn it. Oh wait, the paper's probably frame retardant, I forgot. And somehow the Master Emerald, this fucking huge chunk of emerald rock, is this small-ass emerald, not even the size of a regular Chaos Emerald. So there's some interesting bits with Sonic and Knuckles having a character moment, except Tails has to ruin everything. Good job, asshole. Seriously, I want to take a break from my shitty comments for a minute and actually say that I really do like the dynamic that Sonic and Knuckles have, that they have something that they once had but lost, and it was actually really heartwarming to see such character development from there. And yes, there is apparently a Sonic Frontiers movie thing, whatever, that shows Knuckles having the greatest character adaptation, whatever, but I generally don't care. People are saying, don't spoil the Sonic Frontiers, but then they post spoilers anyway, so yeah, fuck you, I don't give a shit. I don't even care about that shit. I don't care. I might as well wrap this shit up now because I've been recording for half an hour and I'm just kind of tired of ranting about this shit. So Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles form the Sonic Heroes. They go after Dr. Ivo Robotnik, who has the Master Emerald, and essentially, rather than using the Master Emerald's already wonderful powers of essentially being even more faster than Sonic, hyper lightning teleportation, and essentially the way to describe the Master Emerald is essentially the exact same shit as the Triforce from The Legend of Zelda. I am not even kidding. I'll even post a transcript. I said trans. How fucking inaccurate does this shit have to be? I guarantee you if these same knuckleheads make a live-action Legend of Zelda movie, they'll probably make the Triforce be like the 7 Dragon Balls, and at the end of the movie, when Link finally does acquire it, he'll speak for the first time and wish for fucking food, like Goku in Dragon Ball. Or Beerus in his goddamn pudding. World of Destruction, huh? You're no Zenigata, and you're no gentleman. You're a dirty old man. I should also slightly mention that I went to GameStop the other day. Oh wait, I mean GayStop the other day. And I actually stumbled across a Sonic the Hedgehog 2 figure that shows the Death Egg robot. So I'm like, oh. So yeah, that was kind of really the only spoiler from that. But it turns out that rather than Jim Carrey using the powers of teleportation with the Master Emerald, he instead takes all of the equipment from Gun and form a robot that's not even accurate to the games. And of course he loses, because of course he does, with his wonderful line of later haters being the most ridiculous cringy shit to kill off a character since Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. the Master Emerald shatters and forms the Chaos Emeralds. I swear, even the dude who loves Knuckles that much at least understands the source material more than these fucking Hollywood retards. So of course Sonic wishes for burritos when in this first movie wasn't even acknowledged, and yet somehow someone said, hey, Sonic actually likes to eat chili dogs? Oh. Well, what about guacamole? Can I just please stop recording this and play Guacamelee?
No!
So you get some interesting finale movie bullshit with Knuckles trying to learn how to play baseball, which is, again, the only really charming part because you have an ancient tribal warrior trying to understand basic human things. Knuckles trying to understand what the fuck texting is, ... Was probably really the only low ball in the movie, but I have to say that everything else was actually okay with Knuckles' performance anyway. And of course, much like in the last movie, we get a teaser shot of Shadow being in the next movie. And somehow they're probably going to ruin him, just like how Sega indirectly ruined their best character ever, who is not named Gamma. The films suck. And no, I don't care if I piss off a bunch of people so many even watch this far. These films suck, and I'm definitely not watching the third Sonic movie unless Sonic Frontiers actually turns out to be good by the time, well, the third movie actually comes out, and Sonic Frontiers will have aged better than Sonic Farts. I'm gonna go ahead and do literally anything else besides playing Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay. Bye. Okay, so for a shit-stained bonus, I'm going to attempt to play Sonic Adventure on my phone via RetroArch because I'm a fucking hypocrite. Lol. Alright, Chaos. Oh, let's go. We somehow got 2 rings. I mean, points. Alright, first hit's free. Okay, fine. Freebie's fine. Alright, ring around the rosy. Alright, very good. Uh-oh, he's up to something. Oh god, the floor disappeared on me. God damn it. Chaos, oh, you are no dolls, and get out of here. Get your racist Indian stereotypes out of here. You watery fuck. Damn it! I missed! Really? No! I fucking missed! Are you fucking kidding? Yeah, fuck you, Takal. You piece of shit.